Hi, welcome to Cryptic Cruciverbalism. This is a video series where I solve cryptic crosswords live, discuss mechanics, parsing, tactics, strategies, in an effort to help you learn how to solve cryptic crosswords. Okay, so this is the Guardian Quiptic from yesterday. This is normally the second crossword I do in the week after the quick cryptic, and this is set by Carpathian. So let's give it a bash. So a horse and sheep mixed up word. Okay, so mixed up could be an anagram indicator. Let me just set a big cursor. This is the crossword companion extension, which I built just to help take notes. So what could a horse and sheep mixed up be? Could be an anagram of A, H, S, A and H for horse, and then sheep. Which could be something like phrase. Let me just see if that fits. No, it doesn't fit, although it looked close. So we'll come back to that one. Obedient Don upset the irritable female urology lecturer initially. Okay, so initially probably means leading letters or an acrostic. So we need 7. If we start from Don, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it could be D-U-T-I-F, dutiful. Okay. So that's the straight part is obedient, and the rest of it is an acrostic or leading letters clue. So let's take a look at 5 down. Rash individual read aloud was raised. So what we could have is a homophone because we've got read aloud. So it could just be a charade. So a word for a rash, a word for an individual, a homophone of those two words, meaning raised. Doesn't jump out at me, so we'll skip on to the next one and just flick through. Toiletry regularly causing row. So regularly often means you take the odd or even letters, so the regular letters from a word. So if we take the odd letters from toiletry, because we know it starts with T, we get T, followed by I, followed by E, followed by R, which creates a row. So this is a little bit of misdirection at the end of the clue, because it reads as if you're saying causing row, but in fact what we're looking for is row rather than row. So that's kind of a nice little trick in clues just to kind of send you down the wrong path. So 7 down, loud atmosphere by quiet place for justice. So loud is often abbreviated to F, which I think is forte in music. Atmosphere is a fairly common word that's often abbreviated to air. By quiet place for justice. So quiet, again looking at music, could be P for piano. And if we're looking at this, we've probably got fair play, and a place, to place, the verb place, could be lay. And that gives us justice. And again, we've got some misdirection here because quiet place reads as if it's the word place as in an environment, but actually we're reading place here as a verb to put down. So some more misdirection in this crossword. So I'll just take a note on some of the mechanics that we've got here, just because I think that's nice to have in the description. So we've got misdirection. For, at the very least, we've got it for, was it dutiful or was it tier? It was fair play for sure, so that was 7 down. Oh yeah, and row, row, so 6 down as well. So we're seeing like quite a bit of misdirection in this crossword, which is always nice. Okay, so 8 down, paid attention has told stories about revolutionary traps. So we could have a straight part which is paid attention, we could have a straight part which is traps. Revolutionary could be red for like a communist, or Che for Che Guevara. As told could be a homophone indicator. Stories could be tales, about could be RE for regarding. So lots of potential for this one, and I'll come back to it when I've got some more letters. There's quite a bit of stuff there. Decrease pressure concerning steamship. So concerning could be RE for regarding. Steamship, steam could just be something like air, ship could be SS. Doesn't jump out. So I'll come back to that. Manage, flipping cycle to garden centres. So manage is often run. Flipping cycle could be an anagram indicator or an anagram of cycle too, although we don't have an I, so that's unlikely. Garden centres could be the centre of the word garden, like RD, so it could end in IRD perhaps. Doesn't jump out, so again I'm just going to skip through until we get some of the easy ones in. Desserts going around hospital room later. So hospital room could be ER for emergency room. Desserts, we could have a word for a dessert that goes around a hospital room and it means later. Doesn't jump out, so come back. Slip left out in part of church. So what could a part of a church could be an apse, which is the straight part I think here, because we've got a P. And then what have we got? So a word for slip could be lapse, so a slip up could be a lapse, and if you take the L out of lapse you get apse. So we're just taking a letter out of the word synonym for slip, and that gives us a part of a church. Dads navigate strangely, unfavourable circumstance. So I think we have 12 letters in dads navigate. Strangely could be an anagram indicator, and an unfavourable circumstance is probably the straight part. So I'll just pause while I have to think about the anagram. So I've been playing with the anagram helper. I put an I and an N at the beginning after a while to see if it was in something, just because that could potentially be unfavourable. This hasn't jumped out at me, so we'll continue looking for some quick and easy ones. 18 across. Server's right to replace a plug for author's unfortunate condition. So I'm going to guess that the straight part is an unfortunate condition. Servers could be all sorts of things. Waiters, right could be are. Replace a plug could be changing some letters. Author could be me or I. So there's quite a lot going on there, so I'll come back when I've got some letters. 21 across. Roll, ankle, somewhat, and limp. So somewhat could be a hidden word indicator. We do have lank here. I'm not 100% sure whether lank means limp, but I'm going to leave that in and take a punt that it is. So I'll just take a note of this one. There's a little bit of uncertainty for 21 across. Okay, 22 across. Find baker, juggling sharp object. So we've got 10 letters in find baker. Juggling could be an anagram indicator. We do have the letters for knife, and in fact it's bread knife, I think. It's an anagram of find baker, and that gives us a sharp object. 25 across. Gut feeling during instruction. So gut feeling could be something like an instinct. Doesn't jump out, so whipping through again. Separate acting role. So an acting role could be part. Separate could be a part. So I think we have a straight part which is separate, and then acting role would be a part. You have a part in a film or a part in a play. Smile about, European male oddly finding mischievous spirit. Okay, so oddly again could be indicating that we're taking the odd letters of European male. So this could potentially be something like E for European, male, ML for oddly, and if we smile about this, we could have perhaps grin. So actually that does look like it works, because we've got gremlin. So we have the word grin, which is smile, and it surrounds European male oddly, which is, where do we get the, we've got an EML, so that's European male oddly, surrounded by grin, which gives us mischievous spirits. Left, one, king, and noble woman spinning furiously. So left could be L, one could be I, king could be K, or it could be R. A noble woman could be duchess or a peer. Not sure, so I'll drop those for now, come back to it later, take a look at the downs. Call upon old man to return ring. Old man could be OM, ring could be O, a few things there. doesn't jump out, skip on. Advanced convenience for reps. We could have the straight part as being advanced. Reps is sometimes like salespeople. Convenience could be toilet or WC perhaps. Not sure. Let's come back to it. Controlled remainder, getting showered. Showered could be the straight part. Controlled could be the straight part. Doesn't jump out. Skip through. Bloke A consumes new delicious food. So bloke could be guy or man. We could have we could have a word for a bloke being something like man. It could then consume n for new, and then delicious food could be manna, and I think that's manna is like something that gives you power. I'm not 100% sure that manna's right there. I'm not 100% sure it has two N's, so I'm going to take a punt and just note 4 down is something I'm not sure about. So 5 down, we took a look at these already, I think. Rush individual, paid attention. So, paid attention could be listened. So let's see what's going on here. So paid attention as told. So we could have a homophone of listened. We've got stories about revolutionary traps. So what could the revolutionary be here? Okay, what I think is going on is that told stories could be lied, L-I-E-D, and that word could surround nets, but nets is going upwards because it's revolutionary, so revolutionary indicates a reversal. As told is not a homophone indicator, it's actually told stories, which is lied. It gives us the straight part, listened. We've got a K at the beginning of the second word here, which is nice. Kelvin and Nicholas with skill to make trifle. So Nicholas could just be Nick, something like N-I-C-K. Kelvin could be the letter K for the scientific unit for Kelvin, which is temperature. Skill could be art, A-R-T, to make trifle, and trifle could be something which is unimportant. So let's go back here. Kelvin and Nicholas. We do have a K here, which could come from Kelvin. We've got Nicholas could be N-I-C or N-I-C-K. Art could just go at the end, but that would give us a K here, which doesn't look too likely, so come back to that. There's a few potential ideas there. 15 down. Claim senoritas wrong, so anagram indicator potentially is wrong, which would give a straight part claim. So if we put this in the anagram helper, senoritas, assertion, I think, is the word. Getting the some of the anagrams I'm getting fast today. 14 across, not at all. 16 down. Home of upwardly mobile blue fish. So blue fish could be Nemo from Finding Nemo. It could be going upwards, so it's upwardly mobile. Home could be something like in. Not sure, so jump on to the next one. Sketch of gent I've developed over time. So this could be a stretch. It could be a sketch. Gent I've could be the letters for an anagram with the anagram indicator being developed, and it's starting with time. So let's take a punt of that. So T for time, gent I've, and let's see, sketch, not jumping out at me, so we'll move on for now. 19 down, got a few letters in this one. Win over upset artists in poorly lit surroundings. Okay, so let's start with the things that at least jump out. So artists is often R-A for Royal Academy. That could make artists R-A-S. If it's upset, the letters could be skipped around, or it could just be upside down. If we do think it's upside down, it could be something like this, although that would be a letter with I-S-A-R afterwards, which doesn't sound likely. Win, well, we do have a W, an I, and an N, and if it was over, it could potentially be like this. Not sure. Oh, it could also be a hidden word. No, that doesn't work. So again, jump on, 20 across. Ran, wearing, sash. So the straight part could probably be ran, or it could be sash. I'm not sure. Skip on. Abolish, article by new, union leader, at first. So we could have at first being a acrostic indicator, so leading letters. If that was the case, it would be article, probably not the B, but the N, the U, the L. It gives us a null. I wonder if article could be A, by new, union leader, at first, could potentially be, it could give us something like abnull, but I don't think that is a word for abolish. We could have abolish being perhaps ban, so not 100% sure of this one, but I've got a few ideas, so move on to that. Fellow, I will satisfy, so fellow could be guy, or man, or chap, or pal. Again, not 100% sure, so we'll come back to this one later on. So what have we got? We've got some letters in one across. So a mixed up word could be an anagram, and that seems to fit because a horse, well, we've got a, for the A in the clue. Horse could be a nag, that's a pretty common abbreviation, and then ram for a sheep, and that gives us a mixed up word. And again, there's a little bit of misdirection here, because mixed up looks like an anagram indicator, but the answer is actually an anagram, which is quite cool. One down, call upon old man to return ring. So this could well be a word for call. It starts with A, which is not a particularly discriminating letter, so I'll try moving on to maybe 3 down, which starts with an R. So controlled. Well, controlled could be ran. Remainder could be, I'm not sure what remainder could be, and it could be getting showered, so I don't know, rainstorms or something like this. Actually, controlled potentially could be an anagram indicator, but if it was, remainder would not have enough letters, although it does have the letters of rain, so it's kind of interesting, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. 10 across. Manage, flipping cycle to garden centres. Well, garden centres could be nurseries, and I think that seems to work because to manage could be to nurse. If we're then going to flip cycle, we would be flipping S-E-I-R. So what's S-E-I-R? S-E-I-R. I don't recognise that as a word. Perhaps we've got something else going on here. Cycle to garden centres. I don't know, I'm going to leave that in for now and come back to it to try and have a think about the parsing. I'm pretty sure it's nurseries for garden centres. Okay, so 5 down was the rash individual. Read about was raised. So what could raised be? Raised could be to be nurtured or brought up. Rash could be daring. If it was daring, that would be a quite unusual start. So I'm not convinced that it is daring, unless it's daring about something. So if it was about something, it could be something like this. don't know, but I'll take a look at 18 across just to see. I don't think it is daring. I think that it's going to end in ed if it is a word for raised, because it would be the past tense. So that's a little bit of a kind of guess, and that may be a tactic for crosswords. If you think the straight part is something like raised, which is in the past tense, you could always stick it ed at the end and then see if that helps you get some other answers. So I will put that in. But this is the unfortunate condition clue, which I think is a little bit of a hard one. So drop that for now. In that case, again, looking at kind of tactics or strategy for a crossword, I'm pretty sure dads navigate strangely as an anagram. So I'm just going to pause and have a really good think about that one. Okay, so the anagram is disadvantage. I struggled on this one for a while because I put gate at the end if it was like a Watergate sort of type thing. I put in at the beginning if it was inadvisable, in blah blah blah, whatever. I didn't see the DIS, which I should have done, kind of Scrabble style, looking for fragments of words, and if it's unfavourable it could be dis something, so probably should have got that sooner. That does give us a V here, so raised could be something like derived. I do think we probably end in EDs, because VED is a pretty common ending for a word. A rash individual could be like a dare man or a dare guy. So I think we could have an A at the beginning. It's still not coming to me, so I'm going to take a look at some of the other clues where we've got a few letters in, perhaps 16 down. 16 down didn't jump out, so I've gone to 13 where we have this K at the end, and did find that we've got K for Kelvin, NIC for Nicholas. To be skillful or to have a skill for something is a knack. You could have a knack for crosswords, which I don't, and that gives us a trifle, which is a knick-knack, which is quite a nice clue. Gives us an A in 18 across, 28 across, which is quite discriminating. So it does look like we could have left one king or left one king, although that does look like it's a pretty unusual word if it's L-I-K. So I'm going to take that out for now. Spinning furiously. Well, left one king I suppose could be L-I-K. We could have an E. So a noble could be something like an earl, and a woman could be a she or an R. I don't think we've got earl, although it does seem to fit quite nicely. So let's have another bit of a think of this. A noble woman. Well, what could a noble woman be? So still not sure about this one. I'm going to go to the bottom left corner and see if I can pop any of these in. This is the home of the mobile blue fish, which I'm going to come back to. Home is often in, but I'm not too confident yet. So let's go back to this sketch of Jen, because I think this is another anagram, and when I'm a bit stuck on crosswords, I'll often go to the ones that I think are anagrams and just hit them for a while. So gent I've developed over time. If you shuffle that, looks like we've got vignette. So vignette, how do you spell that? V-I-G-N-E-T-T, I think. I'm not very good at spelling, but that does give us a sketch, a vignette. We're looking a little bit more doable on 18 across. Servers or severs. No, sorry, it is servers. It's got the R in it. So right to replace a plug. Plug could be an ad or something like this. For authors, unfortunate condition. Well, if we were to guess that plug is a D, and we've got something which is like servers, like potentially waiters. So let's have a little bit to think about this. So if servers was waiters, and then it's saying right to replace A, it could be that we're taking the R for right and replacing it with an A. But that is, well, I suppose that could give us some letters. Let's come back to that. If we have an unfavorable condition, could it be something like addict, where we've got plug for I being the setter, unfortunate condition? Don't think that feels too good yet. So maybe, what else have we got some starting letters on? We did have this annul or abnull. Does annul have two N's? It might do. So if it does have two N's, let's take a look at that. So abolish could certainly be annul. Article could be A, just the letter A something. By new could be N. Then we've got union leader, which goes there, but what we don't have is the second N, but we still do have this B, so this is probably a bad guess, but I'm gonna guess that 23 down, or at least for now, is abnull. I'm gonna put 2 question marks here, because this is something I'm really not sure about. But it does give us at the end of 25, so perhaps there's something likely there. Gut feeling. Okay, so again, looking at fragments of word, probably something that ends in tion during instruction. So gut feeling could be your intuition. So that seems to fit, because during could be in, during the middle of the day, in the middle of the day. Instruction could be tuition, and that gives us our gut feeling. 16 down, I something G, that looks really likely. Again, a bit of Scrabble guessing here. It kind of ing. To fish, what we could be having here is fish being a bit of misdirection, not fish as in a noun. It could be a fish as in a verb. So sort of grabbing or hooking or something like this. So home could be in if you're at home. Upwardly mobile, or we could have a word for upward, for mobile, that's going up. Blue, what could blue be? Depressed or sad. I don't think I've got it yet, but I do like the ing at the end, so I'm going to leave that there for now. What else did we have that looked possible? Win over upset artists in poorly lit surroundings. So surroundings, that's a word that could indicate the surroundings of letters. So what have we got in terms of surroundings? So win over upset artists in poorly lit surroundings. So the surroundings of lit would be LT. The surroundings of poorly would be PY. Artists could be RAS. Now this doesn't give us the I that we would need, and PY doesn't look entirely likely, but we are getting some bits and pieces here. So let's take a guess that surroundings is kind of indicating a mechanic, perhaps giving us the T. What could poorly be? Poorly could be ill. If it was ill, we could have artists inside ill, or we could have artists inside sick. So artists could be RAS for Royal Academies. Inside ill, no, doesn't quite fit there. Could it be RA? Again, doesn't seem to fit. So we've got some kind of fragments here, but not sure yet. So I'm going to come back to that one, but kind of sometimes writing down those potential fragments can help. Okay, so far struggling with this one quite a lot. I'm going to take a look at 5 down, just pause while I have a think about that. Okay, so a couple of seconds later, this seemed to jump out at me. Rash individual, I was just thinking of dare again, could be daredevil. So what could this be? So a rash individual is a daredevil. Okay. Read about was raised. So raised could indicate that we're getting some letters going upwards. If we write it upwards, we've got lived, ARD. So we do have the letters RED at the end, and we've got about. So I think we've got read about, which puts us there. So it's just an anagram of read. That leaves us with devil at the end. Was raised. So was could just be lived. He lived, perhaps. And if it's raised, then it's going upwards. That does mean that was in this case was equals lived, which I don't feel 100% comfortable with. So I'm going to take a note of that, and again I'm going to look that up. So this is 5 down. I'm quite finicky about looking things up, and I think that's a good strategy for getting better at crosswords, is to try and make sure you 100% understand the parsing. Okay, so what have we got here? Unfortunate condition could be, or we've got L something C, so luck or lick or lice, head lice would be an unfortunate condition. So what else do we have? Servers. Well, servers could be, let's take a guess that it's waiters. So servers, right to replace a plug for authors, unfortunate condition. So I do quite like waiters, but I'm not seeing something that could jump out here. Or is it like waiters block or waiters writer's block? Okay, so writer's block would be an unfortunate condition, especially for a setter, but I think that's what we've got. So let's take a look. So waiters is servers. Okay, great. Now it's saying right to replace a. So let's replace the a in waiters, the right in raters with a. So that would give us writers. So I was kind of close earlier when I was trying to replace this R with an A, but I got that around. Okay, so a plug, could that be a block, like a blockage? Yep, I think so. So a plug in the system could be a block in the system, and that gives us writer's block, which is the unfortunate condition. And now we've got a W in 16 down, which is a great letter. So home of upwardly mobile blue fish. So let's take a guess that blue is low, and if it's upwardly mobile, then it's going up. So what does this now give us? Home could be dwelling, but how would that go with fish? So let's take a look. So DWELLING. Well, a fish could it be an eel or a ling or something like this? Blue could be lewd. So let's just go to this quickly. So you've got the word lewd, which equals blue. If blue is upwardly mobile, then we get, so we get lewd. So we've got lewd. That leaves us with the letters ling, and a ling is a fish. That's joggling my memory there. So cool, we're getting a little bit closer. Let's see if we can finish the bottom left with 24. Fellow, I will satisfy. So let's I think what could be a fellow could be a guy, a man, something like this. A fellow could be bill. If you satisfy, do you bill someone? I'm not convinced you do. A fellow could also just be will, but I think that would be very unlikely to have the answer straight in there, because we obviously have will. In this, is there any other potential hidden words? I'm not sure, so let's just take a note that 24, we're thinking maybe bill, will, very unlikely. This could also really block me because I could be having names when thinking about 24, and that could just be going down completely the wrong path. Okay, so I think to get a good chance of finishing this off, we're going to need 1 down. So think about that for a while. Where were we? Call upon old man to return ring. Well, call upon could be a veil. Actually, call upon could probably only be a veil if I don't know what words mean, because that doesn't seem to work. What about appeal to call upon? So what have we got? Ring to peel. So again, some really nice misdirection. I'll just note that again. So 1 down, we've got ring. To return ring suggests ring as a noun, but actually we've got ring as a verb. And then old man could be your pa, your father, and it's returned, so it's upwards. So we've got reversal, and we've got a charade for ring. So cool, we've got a P on 9 across, that's useful. Decrease pressure concerning steam ship. Could it be press? P for pressure, RE for concerning, and steam ship being SS. I know a ship is often SS, but I think that's actually short for sailing ship. To decrease something, could you press it or depress it? Could it be a hidden word? If it was a hidden word, I think it would be unlikely to be press, just hitting in here. So unfortunately, I'm not too comfortable with 9 across being press, and I sometimes even wonder that whether writing these down like this actually just locks my mind into the wrong way of thinking rather than looking at it fresh. Maybe 11 across, so a dessert going around hospital room later. Later again could be something like some misdirection for dead or more dead. What could a dessert be? Trifle, cake, gatto, a few things there. So I'm not sure still. It's really struggling with this one today. Advanced ahead, maybe. Convenience for reps. What could reps be here? And what could convenience be? AWC? A toilet? I'm not sure. 3 down. Controlled, remainder, getting showered. Okay, so I think showered is probably the straight part, or I'm guessing it's the straight part, just because we've got an E here and it could end in D. Because, well, it could end in ED. I think it's likely to end in ED, whatever, because controlled is past tense, showered is past tense. So whether we have the straight part being controlled or showered, there's a good chance it will end in ED. So that could help us here. Showered or controlled is something, I don't know. This crossword feels like it's been really hard, but actually we are reasonably close. So I'm going to pause and I'm just going to look at the top left corner. I'm going to have a cup of tea and then I'm going to come back and have a think. Okay, I haven't had my cup of tea yet. But I do think I've got the next one. So controlled, I put an S in here because I was kind of wondering, could it be press? And if it was, what would that make 3 down? And that quickly got me to restrained. So showered is rained, which seems to fit quite nicely. And then the remainder could be the rest. So it looks like 9 across could potentially be press, but I'm really not sure. If it was, we'd have an E here. So advanced, again, if advanced is the straight part, it could end in ED, which would give us some letters for 11 across. Hospital room could be the ER, the emergency room, but I'm not sure. Advanced could be ahead, perhaps, so if you put that in there. But convenience for reps, I just do not know. So I'm going to take the E out for now. So 2 down, still not sure. Let's go back to 11. So dessert going around hospital room. If this is a dessert and it starts with A and it's this long, I'm pretty sure I don't know it. So if it's not a dessert, it could be later. Oh, that looks like it would fit. So afterwards and wards. Okay, so let's see. So dessert. Okay, yep. Your dessert could be afters. I don't know if that's a particularly common expression. I hear that in the north. What's for afters? What's for dessert? And if it goes around a hospital room, it goes around ward. So there we go. Finally starting to break into this top left corner. So let's go to 2 down again. And I am going to stop and have a cup of tea and just let this one bubble around in my head. Again, I didn't make it to my cup of tea because I just got a bit stuck looking at 2 down, which has finally jumped out at me. It's agents. Because advanced is A. Why is advanced A? Again, I kind of want to look that up because that will be a useful abbreviation to know. And I don't know why advanced is A. Often these abbreviations are not just the first letter of a word, they are something that's kind of like a known expression, like CH for church, I think is put on maps and things like this, or abbreviated on signs like street or whatever. Anyway, advanced, I'm guessing, is A convenience for reps. Well, convenience could be gents. I was thinking WC, but gents is a bit better. And reps are agents. That does mean that 9 across is looking like press. I'm really not super happy with that because I don't like the fact that press is just kind of here at the beginning of this word. But if we say pressure is P, concerning is RE, and then steamship is SS, okay, that's potential. But I am not confident. I'm not confident on so much of this crossword this week. Okay, we are nearly there. I think abnull is looking really bad. That just sounds like the wrong, like I'm just miles away here. So I'm going to take that out for now. I'll take out the I. What was 28 across? Left 1, king, nobleman, spinning furiously, like something, like hot, like top. What could this be? So 23 down, we've already looked at, and I'm pretty unconfident. 19 down, win over upset artists in poorly lit surroundings. Okay, that one I've not really even started to unblock, so maybe that's the best one to move on to. Actually, this one's probably the better one. So ran wearing sash, it's probably the straight part is ran, or it's probably the straight part is sash or wearing sash. So if I just sit and I do have that cup of tea, and I haven't got to the tea yet, it's belted. That's a really nice clue. If a sash is a belt, then wearing a sash would be being belted, and if you ran, you belted. That means this looks like it could be like mad, something spinning furiously, and dame is backwards there, so let's just go through this quickly. So left is L, 1 is I, king is E, and then we have a noblewoman, which is a dame spinning, so going backwards and spinning furiously. So 23, I don't think I'm going to get much better than this. It's either abnull or annull. I'm going to take a really bad guess and say that abnull is a bit like, I don't know, abjugate or something, and it's a word for abolish, which doesn't, yeah, well, maybe there's a chance. And that leaves 2 clues. So 19 down, win over upset artists in poorly lit surroundings. Okay, poorly lit could be dim, so that could be D there. Win over could be to disarm, and that does give us the RAS. So RAS being Royal Academies, which are artists. And we are left with 1 clue, 24 down, and this was the one that I thought might be Bill or Will. Fellow, I will satisfy. Well, we could just go through the letters A, B, and try that. So, I am going to step away. I'm still waiting for this cup of tea and have a think. Okay, this took me far too long. So fellow could be F. I think that might be an abbreviation for a fellow at a university. I will could be I'll, and satisfy would be to fill. Just been savaged in this crossword, so I'm going to do a check all and see how many letters disappear, which will show how many I got wrong. Okay, so abnull was wrong, or reveal that, so it was annul, and I'm going to quickly check 15 squared and try and parse get the parsing for the ones that I didn't get. Quickly note those, and then upload this and have a lie down. Right, so check this on 15 squared. So thank you, Shanne, for the help here. So let's quickly go through what I didn't understand. So 21 across was lank, and somewhat was a hidden word indicator, and the word lank is in roll ankle. So probably should have got that. 4 down, manna is a food. Apparently it's a biblical reference. Had heard manna for power before. Didn't realise it was a biblical word. 10 across. This one I should have got. To manage is to run. So it's the word manage that was flipped, and a cycle is a series, and that's just there. I should have seen that for sure. 5 down, was indeed lived. And then 9 across, it seems like a few people had commented on this, not being 100% sure, where pressure could have been power and abbreviated to P, or pressure could just be P. Decrease, I really liked this, could be depress, to like decrease something, like to iron it. So if you decrease a shirt, you could press it with an iron. I think that's pretty nice if that's what it was. We did wonder, or I did wonder about advanced being A. Where was advanced? Was it in here somewhere? So 1, 2, advanced convenience for reps. Just take a look at 2 down. Advanced is A as in A levels, so that's great. I'm glad I looked that up, so that's hopefully an abbreviation I'll remember in the future. So thanks, Carpathian. I didn't think this was the easiest start to the week. I think I got savaged, but it was good fun. I think I'll move on to Mondays next if I get the time. Thanks. This felt like a hard start to the week, sort of 30 minutes of me just being utterly confused, but very much enjoyed that. So see you next time.